What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Chris, 3 years running bestseller at ShineOn. Now I'm the CMO of ShineOn. I wanted to thank you so much for checking out our YouTube video. And if you like this kind of content, I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope you enjoy the video. What's up? How's everybody doing?
What a surprise!
Gentlemen,
I have this
how are we?
image in my mind of everybody taking like a step back from their computers when this thing fires up because I try to be so loud, try to be explosive on the go here. What's up, everybody? Kirsta, Ronnie, how you doing?
Top of the world, mate.
Doing fantastic. I had to reel in the big guns because of the topic which we wanted to discuss today. I thought that Ronnie was a key contributor about this topic. He's posted some fantastic content on his YouTube channel, and he's one person that we've been chatting for a while, and it's a topic that always circulates. So I want everyone to thank him for coming on today. He actually woke up in the middle of the night to be here. So can we get a raise of glasses for Ronnie?
Yeah, it takes a second. We're about 30 seconds on the delay here, just so you know. But yeah, I actually think I screwed this. I screwed this up twice, actually. So Ronnie was supposed to be a surprise on the stream. And I screwed it up the first time because I put Ronnie's name in the ticker down below.
I also put John, but he's not here with us today.
And then I screwed it up the second time because I don't think I was supposed to bring him in, at the beginning here. But you know what? Sue me.
Just got to roll with it.
Yeah. Cheers from down under. All right. Cool. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Appreciate you. This week's Coffee with Michael, we're going to be talking about top 3 tips to get ready for Q4. Let me get that back in there. Top 3 tips to get ready for Q4. Before we do, though, you guys know how we like to do things here. We have to do a little toast. Do we not? So raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, and flasks, and join me now for the Digital Marketer's Toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs to higher CTRs, much higher CVRs to enable ad accounts and big bank accounts, upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sells, and to the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in your niches, but also your email flows. Are you ready? Drink.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
That's a way to be. What are you drinking, Kirsta?
This is a Starbucks caramel macchiato.
Oh, it is coffee. It is coffee. They serve them fancy over there, apparently.
It's 5 p.m. here, so I need a kick up because I'm probably gonna be working hard on some fantastic things for everyone later on. So I need my pick me up.
Dig it. All right, let's get into it, shall we? We got some good stuff today. We're going to be talking about your top 3 tips to get ready for Q4. We brought the big guns in today to kind of help us out with that. Let me get this thing off your face there, Ronnie. We brought in some big guns today to help us out with that. We have Kirsta joining me. Top media buyer, did $3 million in revenue with ShineOn, I think in 2020 alone. Absolute beast. Ronnie is here. Ronnie had a fantastic Q4 with his partner, Suhail. I think they did 1.4 million or something like that in the span of like 7 or 8 weeks. It was a lot in a short amount of time.
That's double, but that's a good goal for this year. That's for sure.
All right, so it was 700, but it was like 750,000 in 16 days, right?
Yeah, so 730 in 18 days. But we ran the numbers.
Continued to sell though into Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Oh, if I don't know what we did into Valentine's Day.
I swear I saw a number. You were definitely north of $1 million.
Yeah, I did the Q4 numbers last year, and we were just shy of $1 million in that last quarter. So
in Q4 though, but in Q1, I don't know, a span of 1 or 2 months there, spanning from I think December, maybe 3 months into the end of February. You guys did a lot of revenue in a fairly short amount of time. So maybe my numbers are off. My apologies, folks.
If I have a look at Valentine's Day, you're probably right. I've never actually looked at it that way. So
you caught him off today.
Yeah, look, I am a marketer. I am prone to exaggeration.
Yeah, that's right.
You're just going to have to deal with that.
Come on, Ronnie.
Everything is bigger and shinier in my imagination than it actually is in real life. But that's just the way things are for us folks. All right.
That's good.
Let's get into it. We're going to cover some testimonials. I got some quick updates for you, and then we're going to get into the meat of the content. If you guys are excited about Q4, this is the place to be. We got all kinds of new products coming at you. Buying season is upon us. It's literally like stealing candy from a baby as we get closer and closer to Christmas. It gets easier and easier. The sales come in. The cost per purchases go down. It's a glorious, glorious time to be an e-commerce seller. I look forward to this all year long. I'm not even kidding. My entire year centers around Q4. In fact, it's so bad for me that like May rolls around and we get into summertime and I almost start freaking out. I'm like, am I ready for Q4? Do I have all my products ready to go? Do I know what I'm testing? It's like I orient my entire life around this 2 or 3 month period around Christmas because it is so powerful. All right. Testimonials. Antonia joined the $2,000 club. Congratulations, 2K revenue. For me, it was all Etsy. First sale in July. Fantastic. So went from 2,000 in July. I'm sorry, from no sales in July, just getting started out to $2,000 in revenue now in September. They're going to have a really nice Q4. Etsy's amazing too because it's basically all organic traffic. There's no ad spend here, which means she was able to pocket most, if not all, of this profit, which is pretty sweet. This is just extra money in her pocket for throwing some ads up. Sorry, some designs up on Etsy. Really want to thank Michael for the value in the Friday meetings and bringing Anna back over. The first video together, so with Anna, was so motivational for me that I decided to finally take action and try my luck on Etsy. So congratulations, Antonia. You've got some swag coming your way. Somebody from my team will be reaching out. We've got some special stuff in the works as far as swag goes too, but we'll announce that at a future day. It's going to be pretty cool. Next up, we have a testimonial from Deepak Dralia. Hope I said your name right. $15,000 in revenue. Congratulations, buddy. Love to see that. Hopes to multiply this to infinity. I hope you do too, buddy. That is the dream right there. 295 total purchases, $8,500 in profit. Congratulations. That was on September 12th, so a little less than 2 weeks ago. People are buying right now, despite iOS 14, despite whatever's going on in the economy. People are buying literally right now. It is the time to strike. The iron is hot. So congrats, Deepak. You've got some swag coming your way. Next up, we have a testimonial from Michael Veltri. First sale here. Had a little dry spell, but got a sale through Etsy. Nothing really spikes your fire like that cha-ching. So as most of you know, on Etsy, if you have your notifications turned on, every time a sale comes in, you hear a little cha-ching. It is pretty cool. I've experienced it myself a few times. It feels pretty good when you hear it. So yeah, congratulations, Michael. Great work. I love to see first sales in particular because it just shows everybody that this is possible. It's within reach. Anybody can do this. If you're new and on the fence and just starting out, it really shows you that like you're this close to breaking through the wall, right? And getting your first sale. And once you get your first sale and you make your first dollar online, everything changes. It's like taking the red pill in the Matrix. I'm not kidding. Literally your entire life will reorient once you understand that you can decouple your time from money. It's an amazing thing, an amazing feeling. So congratulations, Michael. You've got some swag coming your way. All right, some quick updates, and then we're going to get to the meat. So first of all, sales are starting to heat up. We are already seeing, I think we had, let's see, I think last Thursday, we had the highest number of sales in like 3 months last Thursday. And every single day we've broken it. So the sales are already starting to creep up for Q4. So now is an amazing time to get out there, start testing. People are buying, people are in buy mode. Kids are back to school. The weather is cooling down here in the States. It's starting to remind everybody of Christmas, the fall, the holidays right around the corner. It's a fantastic time to get out there and start running your ads. All right, next. There's only 5 days left to sign up for the 100 challenge. If you want to do that, go to ShineOnChallenge.com. We've got a whole leaderboard here. We've had 1,300 people or something like that sign up. They've uploaded 32,000 designs, which is incredible. And I think we're on track for 2,000 sales right now. A lot of folks are waiting for our Etsy integration to hit, which is also just right around the corner. So if you want to be part of the challenge, Get in now, ShineOnChallenge.com. We got a really cool leaderboard here. We have a special Facebook group where we're keeping track of everybody that's in the challenge. It's a great place to kind of mingle with other challenge members, to be in a community where you can be held accountable to taking action this Q4. It's super cool. It's being led by Tammy, and Kate has helped a lot too. Congratulations, or great work, and kudos to them. Thank you very much. Hats off. They've done a fantastic job. If you want to join the challenge, ShineOnChallenge.com. Next, we've increased the take rate on the product protection plans on the platform from 2% to 10%. So we've basically been playing around with kind of the look and the feel, and we're CRO testing what the little add-on looks like on the product page. And we found a winner. We changed it to this here, what you're seeing on the screen, and the take rate on this jumped from 2% to 10%. And the overall conversions increased just a smidget as well. So it didn't impact conversions negatively on the product. So if you have product protection or you don't, go turn this thing on, because it is converting. It'll add an extra $10 to your AOV. I think we split this with you. I think you keep $5 of this $10 and we keep $4.95. So it's just extra money in your pocket. You may as well add it. 1 out of every 10 orders, you'll get an extra bump. So go for it. And then finally, I think that's our last one. Oh man, we're close. All right, finally, we're launching in Amsterdam. John has been making regular posts on what the value is of selling in Europe. And I highly recommend everybody, don't have so much tunnel vision on the US this year that you miss out on this amazing opportunity in Europe, especially now that we're going to have a factory over there. Europe opens you up to a much larger market. There's an additional 450 million people over there. Many of these are like first world countries where people have a great standard of living and they have discretionary income to spend on these kinds of gifts. They're more westernized too, so they can get kind of the romantic angles and things like that we bring to some of the necklace items. Europe is kind of a blue ocean too, especially if you get a design and you translate it into a foreign language, and then you can just kind of corner the market in that language. You'll have no competition. You basically create a blue ocean. I've seen people do this with German, with Dutch, with Italian, with French. I mean, every now and then a seller comes through, they have something that just starts popping off. They get it translated and they'll just own a market for like 6 to 9 months. It's honestly, it's unreal. They'll sell through, normally in the United States, you've got there's volatility that comes with the seasons, quite a bit. There's lots of fluctuation. These sellers, they just lock in and will just bring in sales in a very stable way for months and months and months. So definitely do not overlook that. Get creative. Start thinking about how you can corner the market and go after some of these blue oceans that opening up in Amsterdam is going to allow. Another thing. What's that? Just
while we're on this slide, last year I was doing Europe as well, and it converted really high. The only issue was the shipping times. But now with like super fast shipping times from Europe, it's just going to change the game. Like they were converting much higher than US in terms of conversion rate. So it's just going to be crazy. I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives this quarter for the Europe opening. That's just crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And you're totally right too, because a lot of times those people have never seen these kinds of products, right? Because everybody tests, everybody markets primarily in the United States, Canada gets some good share of that. And you have kind of in general your big five that'll get kind of a sprinkling: UK, Australia, New Zealand, added to the US and Canada for your big five. But like Europe, for the most part, is it's overlooked and it's just not focused on. So if you can get something popping off over there, the sky's the limit. And then finally,
and when we first went to Germany, so we started t-shirts way back in 2014, right? So we'd just done 300,000 in 3 weeks. And then we came back. We actually shut everything down because Hal got married in Bali, came back, and we had to look for another market because they'd shut down the age campaigns in the US. So the next stop was Germany. And we went over there. We ended up doing 100K in 10 days. So wow. It just lit up. And that was like you translated stuff. But they were similar in their thinking. It wasn't exactly the same, but they're very prideful. They're very proud of themselves, the engineering. So you pull on those aspects of them as a nation, and you encompass that, incorporate that into what you're doing, it'll blow up. They buy.
Dude, I love that, man. So it's basically just, print on demand tactics 101, right? Learn your audience, learn your niche, and then make things they'll want to buy. But no, I love that, man. And we've seen that success play out repeatedly. Like, I see everybody's sales. Okay. I'm kind of privileged at this point. And I'm telling you, like, we have sellers that just come in every now and then and they'll just lock into a foreign language and they'll own it. They'll own it for 6 to 9 months. I mean, just one design just will sit there and crank out sales. So
where there's a little bit more of a barrier to entry, there's less people.
100%, man.
Like there's some translation you need to do. That not everybody's doing that, so there's less people in there. It's definitely worth a shot. 100%.
Plus, you know how the message card jewelry was new at the end of 2019 and definitely the beginning of 2020. It was new, so especially in these direct response platforms like Facebook. So they were scroll stoppers in and of themselves. Well, that still exists in a big way in all these European markets because they've just not been saturated with these products yet. So this needs to be part of your test plan. If you do any kind of direct response marketing, testing out in Europe has got to be part of your test plan this year. We've lowered the barriers by opening a factory over there. You're going to have fast shipping times. You're going to be able to keep your customer feedback scores high. You need to be testing this. Another thing that's cool about the EU is it's kind of iOS 14 proof. All I mean by that is that Apple does not have as deep a market penetration in the EU as they do in the United States, right? So most people, not everybody, are on Android devices. So you can actually target Europe and just exclude iOS devices from your testing. And you don't have to deal with any of the craziness that iOS 14 has introduced to tracking and optimization on Facebook, right? So it's a great opportunity, again, to kind of get around some of the challenges you're faced with here in the United States with tracking and optimization and take advantage of this European market. And then finally, we have extended selling now. So it used to be because of the shipping times, we'd have to cut off selling a little bit early in Europe. But now that we're in Amsterdam and I think we're 3 to 5 business days to basically anywhere in Europe, the cutoff time should be very, very similar to what you're going to have here in the States. You're going to have extra days of selling. So Europe definitely needs to be on your testing plan. It could literally add zeros to your total revenue. So you need to be checking that out.
I'll just add one thing while we're talking about excluding iOS. So you can take a small portion of your budget and target landing page views for iOS in that same market because it doesn't know how to track them. So whether you're paying for landing page views or conversion, you're pretty much going to get the same traffic at the end of the day. So I would recommend if you are doing that.
So let's detour a little bit. So I want to talk about this. So it used to be back in 2017, and I know Ronnie will remember this. Kirsta, I'm not sure if you were doing the Facebook stuff yet or not.
No.
But back in 2017, you could literally run your test ads with PPE objective, the engagement objective, and you would get purchases in that objective on Facebook, right? And that would tell you if you should move forward and try to run some purchase conversion campaigns, right? That was in 2017. In 2018, that method started to die out. Facebook got really, really good at knowing which bucket their audience should actually be in. So that if you started to target the PPE objective, they would literally only give you people that would like and react and comment on your ad, right? And I'm not exaggerating here. Ronnie, you'll be able to back me up on this 100%. I remember that Facebook used to tell you, if you talk to a Facebook rep, they'd say, hey, warm up your pixel, start with traffic, and then go to add to carts or landing page views, then add to carts and initiate checkouts and then purchase, right? They had this going all through 2019. The problem was if you targeted add to carts, Facebook had gotten so good at making sure those buckets only included people that would take those actions, you would literally find only the people that would add something to cart. I mean, you could run $100 a day to an add to cart objective and you would never get a purchase, but you get all the add to carts in the world, right? Facebook was that good at it. Well, now that iOS 14 has come along, Facebook is blind in a lot of ways to the behavior of the users, and all those buckets are starting to get mixed up again, right? So you're going to start to see when you run traffic to add to carts or to these other conversion events that are a little higher up in the funnel, you're going to start to see purchases come through on those. And I can promise you that is not intentional. Facebook does not want that, right? Because you're basically getting cheap conversions you're not paying for. So I'm totally with Kirst on this. Give it more and more time, and you're going to see more and more purchases in those other cheaper parts of the objectives there on Facebook.
Yep, because devices are still getting updated, so they're not all in like completely iOS 14.5. So once they're all in that bucket, you'll have more and more people in those audiences. So it's just like additional strategy which you can implement to capitalize on the situation at hand.
Yeah, dude. Ronnie, do you remember those days?
I do, man. There's some wild rides over the years, that's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. It's like mindset, right? Like you want add to carts, where focus goes, energy flows, you'll get more of it.
Yeah, there you go, dude. All right, I think this is the last one. Man, we're close. Let me power through these. Appreciate everybody's patience. Go check out Jim and Zappy's Shots of Espresso, because they're gold, right? These guys are putting out these awesome guides every week. They're completely free. You're getting course level material here from proven media buyers. Like Jim has run like $30 million in revenue to his own brands. I mean, guys, you need to be taking advantage of this. You're getting free school from like Michael Jordan here, the Michael Jordan of the media buying world. So you need to go be checking these out. And the best way to kind of stay caught up on all the stuff going on with ShineOn, and also to find the Shots of Espresso and all that kind of stuff, if you come into the Facebook group, up at the very top, you're going to see like an announcements link kind of in the menu. Click announcements and just start scrolling through all the stuff we have in here. You're going to see all my coffee with Michaels, all the Shots of Espresso, all the EU updates, any product launches we do, new features we release on the platform. You're going to see all of it just listed right here. We've tagged them all as announcements. We do every single time. So make sure you go in and check those out. All right. Finally, that's it.
Let's go.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. See you next week. Kidding. All right. Let's do it. Tip 1, mindset. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Kirsta and Ronnie, and I'm going to enjoy my coffee. Take her away.
Awesome. So I guess mindset is a key topic that a lot of people tend to skip over, or they go over it and say they're going to apply it and apply it in a small time space, and then it doesn't continue to give them value over time. So those of you that are in my private community or have been a part of it at some point of time will know that I have mindset like right at the top of all the other content. So it's before advertising, before everything else, because it's such a key part. And it really is like such an important part. Like I cannot stress it enough. So if we compare this to this example, so I wanted to always have like examples in real life, or like taking events or watching like some sort of documentary or something, and taking away lessons of how people went on their journey and what their mindset was on that. So in this particular case, which I posted previously, was, my daughter wanted a watermelon, right? And it was off season, so it may not be good, but what do? You're going to buy it, right? So it's more expensive than normal, but you're not going to second guess whether you're going to buy it or not, because she wants it. So you have to kind of apply the same sort of methodology with your ads. Like, forget about the dollar signs. You're putting ads out there and you're getting feedback on those ads. So the feedback will give you the information which you need. But if you get attached to the dollar side of things, then you're gonna get confused as to what you're really looking for. So when I test, for example, I'm looking for 2 to 3 purchases within my testing budget. And if I don't get that, I move on. I don't think, I lost X amount of money. I got this data. So like I can't go out and then say, the watermelon was bad this time, and I'm not going to go and buy a watermelon next time off season because, next time it could have been good. But actually the first watermelon was good. So it could be the same situation when you put your ads out there. That next watermelon could be juicy, right? Same like a product. And so Ronnie and I were talking about something last year when he was surprised the amount of money I was throwing away and like the amount of money I was throwing into my tests. So I was just investing a crazy amount of money, but I wasn't really thinking about the money at the time. I was thinking about the objectives and the outcomes. So, I'm looking for my 2 to 3 purchases, or I'm looking for, when I'm adding more budget, I'm looking for those criterias that it's increasing as I'm increasing budget, sort of thing. So I was looking more of those numbers rather than the dollar figures. And it's such this also ties in when you get to scale, like, that $15 becomes $150 and then $1,500. And as you get bigger, you can't really be focusing on the actual dollar amounts because it can get really scary when you think about how much money is coming out of your bank account. I'm sure Michael can also say, like a crazy Q4 is just like, $5,000, like coming out of your credit card or your bank account. That's the situation which it can come to. So
the scary part for me is the emails that come from Facebook where it's like $900 charge, $900 charge, $900 charge, and it's just they're stacking up. You know what I mean? That's so. Look, I would always tell myself in the beginning that I wasn't wasting money. I was buying data. That was like always how I framed it up for myself. And I think that's kind of what you're saying here. You're saying like, try not to focus on the money, right? Try to focus on the data, right? Because that is kind of what you're buying here, right?
Exactly.
And then the data is valuable. It's worth basically whatever you've paid for it, whether purchases come with the data or not. Because as long as you know how to use the data, right, you can optimize your funnel to profitability.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so that's the thing, like with the mindset of this, right? So if you're not careful, particularly when you're starting and you haven't had those sales come through yet, or you've had very few sales, so to actually invest in these ads, you're like, oh, hang on, like I don't even know if it's going to sell. This is where, for myself personally, like I'm not sure if you guys go through it, but there's periods, and I've spoken about it in just an article I dropped in on my YouTube channel about the times of year and where certain times of year you start doubting yourself, you start doubting everything, and they are the most important times that you need to be hyper aware of your mindset and not get bogged down into the nitty gritty of it, and hold on to that belief. And the way that you hold on to belief, and the way that works for me exceptionally well, is meditation. Picturing what it is that I want, and having that belief that I know exactly what I need to do to get to where I'm going. And, it's through that meditation and getting good with it. Because once you start testing with these budgets and you start seeing the big dollars coming in, you very, very quickly get used to it. You kind of expect it. Your expectations change based on what's coming back. So when you're testing like this and you've got money going out but you're believing that something's coming back, your whole action plan around how you back that up is completely different. If you're negative in your mindset and you've just put $200 into your test, that negative mindset's going to stop you moving forward with that. When you've got some really good data, you might have those 2 to 3 sales on one ad set, or there's just different ways of actually looking at it with a positive mindset. You go, I can actually work with that. Like I just have to optimize that image, or just small tweaks. With a positive mindset, it completely changes everything. Like meditation is 100% where you should start.
So dude, I have some questions about that.
Ronnie's front running my next 2 slides, by the way.
Hang on, I have some questions about meditation.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Is now a good time to ask, or should we go the next slide first?
Go ahead.
Go ahead with what?
With your question. Sorry. It's so true, but like it's so important. Exactly, like pretty much what he said was exactly what I was going to say. Like it's so important. Like your mindset can make or break your products. And if you have a few bad products, you need to like potentially step away and regroup yourself and come back to it again, like, because you want to put your best products out there at every single point of time. So you can mitigate your losses by doing that, like take some breaths, meditate, or do some other activities other than putting or creating designs. Like you just take a step back and then come back to it. Like it's
what works really well on that, like taking a step back, the amount of times I've been out on a run or just walking after I've been in the office, like working on designs and whatnot. You step out of the office where you've got no pressure on yourself. The amount of aha moments I've had out there and come back and actually had products that have sold from just taking that time back, it's nuts. Like it's about that pressure you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like if you remove that pressure, things just open up.
I call that the forest and the tree time, right? Because it's like you're in the trees when you're sitting there looking at Ads Manager, and when you step outside, you start to see the forest again, right? And it allows you to your thinking becomes more divergent. It allows you to go from details to seeing like big picture, 60,000 foot, right? It's important though. It's pretty awesome that you were able actually to tap into to that happening, and you know which lever to pull now to be able to switch mindsets, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
so
I know when I need it too.
Huh?
I know when I need it. Like when I'm not sure if you experience it, but when I'm here in front of this laptop, there's times where I'm like, I just can't think clearly. I can't get my head around what is happening here. I can feel there's something, but it's just not coming through. So that's when you go for a run, and like I could be listening to an audiobook or a podcast, and spacing out, completely thinking about other stuff, and then all of a sudden it just hits, and like that's what I needed.
Yeah, I dig it, man. So look, I've got some questions about this meditation, right? So I've done like more like mindfulness type meditation in the past, but like really something I've kind of learned over the years is that there are like a lot of different forms of meditation and kind of ways to meditate. So when you are talking about meditation, what do you mean specifically?
Right. So I started with just the mindfulness stuff. So it was like about just being, you in the world and understanding your space with it. And it was like, kind of woo-woo sort of things, but there was no real clear purpose to start with. Like, why am I doing this meditation? It feels like I'm just doing it to relax. So that wasn't when I really started connecting with it. It was when I started listening to Joe Dispenza, this Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I listened to that book. Reading it is quite heavy going, but if you're listening to it, it sits differently. It's much easier to get through. But his process is like you have your settling in phase where you do a water rising technique where with your breathing the water rises up through your body. So just to get your mind focused on what you're doing in that moment. The next thing is like thinking about those feelings or the traits or habits that you've got that you're wanting to get rid of. So most often mine is procrastination, anxiety, self-doubt, those things. Like you start feeling them in your meditation, and then the next step is declaring them. I've been anxious. I've been, my productivity has been low. It's that kind of thing. And then you call into your subconscious, you box it up, you send it off. And then the next part is when it gets exciting, because that's when you're thinking about the things that you're trying to create, that you want to create, that you believe has been created. And then you just sit in there. And, it used to be a challenge to sit there for 15, 20 minutes. But right now, I look forward to my 45-minute sessions in the morning. I get up at 4:45 a.m. every single day for the last 25 days. I've been doing this meditation as part of 75 Hard, which is another discipline thing. But I look forward to it. And this one is much more about the meditation there by Joe is called New Potentials. And it's a 45-minute meditation. And it literally, you sit there and you think about these things that you want, that you're trying to create, and you get lost in your thoughts because I do it when I first wake up in the morning. It's like a dreamlike state. So you're creating your own dreams, and you're living your life. You're grateful for the things that you've got in your life. Whether it be materialistic things or just the family type stuff. You're trying to put feeling behind what it is that you're creating. It's not just about visualizing it. It's about feeling that you've got it there and then. It's getting very, very deep. This is like a meditation sort of.
Are you saying like you kind of visualize the end result, like what it's going to be like when you've achieved the goal? It's like that.
So what is it that you're trying to achieve? So, I do have some materialistic goals that I want to achieve because I've always liked nice cars. So one of them is like
dreaming driving your Lambo kind of thing.
Yeah, sitting in it, like talking to my son while driving along in it, smelling the leather, like being so grateful that I get to drive this car that I've worked so hard for, that not many people get to do because they don't put in that effort. So it's like really putting more different what's the word? Senses into it. So you got your gratitude, the feeling, you got the smell,
I totally get it. So when I did mindfulness meditation, one of the things I found was that I almost feel like your emotions can create like a fog that is very difficult to see through, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you can imagine trying to look off into the distance and just seeing a ton of fog. It's like emotions kind of do that. They almost distort reality a little bit, right? And one of the things I felt like mindfulness meditation allowed you to do, but I found that like Stoic practices kind of allow you to do it. There's a bunch of things that can kind of get you there. But one of the things it kind of helps with is like, it allows you to see through that fog. Like it basically puts your emotions in like another room. It's like they're there and like you're still going to experience them, but it allows you to see them first and like at a distance and kind of for what they are rather than being like rocked by them in the present moment.
Yeah, it's about applying the right emotion to the right feeling, right? So you're not if you're doubting yourself and you're in your ads manager and you've got that anxiety around how much money you're spending, it clouds, is exactly what you're saying, it clouds what you're actually trying to achieve. That's what the meditation and that building belief in yourself and believing that you've already got these things, it changes your mindset when you come into that business manager and you're seeing that money going. It's like, well, if I'm driving a $400,000 car, then spending $200 on this test is nothing. This is chump change. So it's that small shifts in how you approach it.
Especially in quarter four, when last year you can fluctuate like thousands and thousands of dollars of profit a day, but you kind of need to let the process run. Like you can't, like a morning starting off bad and just cut your ads, right? Because the next hour could be like the biggest hour of the day and could like flip it. So you can't, like at that point you have to appreciate that you've already made like X amount, and you have to create your own risk tolerance as well and just follow your rules, make a plan and follow the plan. Don't deviate and make rash decisions because you're emotional, right? So you have to distance your emotion from action.
So we've got some other slides here, so we're gonna have to probably wrap this up. But I wanted to talk quickly about the visualization bit too, because we kind of covered a lot of ground. I want to.
That's on the next slide, so you can probably just jump. We've already like dived into most of the topics on the next slide. So I guess so that's on the second slide, I think, where I was talking about visualization.
Yeah. So all I was going to add here was just that I feel like visualization, for me anyway, it's always done two things. One is like it's intangible. I don't know what the heck's going on here. It feels woo-woo. I don't think it is, but I have no clue what's going on. But I feel like when you really do visualize achieving the result, like seeing your bank account fill up with money, seeing an ads manager with your purchases going up and like the right CPPs, like having the maybe it's the more materialistic type stuff, like whatever it is, like when you really do daydream and imagine yourself in those situations, I don't know exactly what happens here, but it really does feel like you can more readily see opportunity that will lead to that outcome than when you don't do it. I don't know. It's like it primes you somehow to be able to see opportunity as it presents itself, like in your day-to-day life. I don't ask me what that is.
Look, it's goal setting, man. Like it's 100%. Like you've got, you want to go on that vacation. It's going to cost you $10,000. Like you are bringing that goal into what you're doing. So you're spot on. But again, like even, I mean, woo-woo, I really shouldn't say that woo-woo is a bad thing, because I believe in energy like nothing else. Like to the point that I've created a business group here in my hometown for guys in business, because I know I need to be around high positive, high energy, highly driven people to hold myself to that same level of energy, because it's not always easy to hold yourself up there, right? So you put these contingencies in place. But if you think of energy when you're talking to people, there's some people that you get along with and there's some that you don't. And it's that same energy with
difference
success.
is, though, the energy with the little e versus the energy with the big E, like a capital E. It's like one is pixie dust and one is like psychology.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a materialist, right? I don't believe it's just like energy and matter in the universe. I'm not one of those guys. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to this visualization thing, I don't know what it is, but it really does feel like it gives you some kind of edge on being able to find opportunity and actually achieve your goals. That's one thing. The second thing that I feel like it does, and I'm curious what you think about this. So I used to play lots of Texas Hold'em, like poker. And when, like, if you play enough and you get to enough final tables, like you really do have to start to learn how to read people. Like you have to incorporate that into your skill set, because like luck is not going to get you through a final table. Like it's going to require more than that. And one of the things I found was like, if I wasn't mentally prepared to be sitting at the final table, maybe even in a one-on-one situation, like a heads-up situation, I would totally be off tilt. Like my heart would be beating fast. My mind is racing. If I pulled a good hand, all of a sudden I'd start to shake. I'd have all these tells. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, if I visualized myself in that chair, heads up against the best guy on the other side of the table with big stacks in front of both of us, like a poker chips and all this stuff. It was like it was like when I got there, it was nothing. It was like, I don't know what it was, but it was like I was mentally prepared to be sitting there in that heads up situation. I was thinking clearly, like it was all part of the plan, that kind of thing. That's what I feel like for me, visualization. It's in the priming you to like be ready to see the opportunities. And it's for being able to, like, when you're in the moment where the thing you want is actually happening, you've still got a clear head. You're calm about it. You're collected about it. And you're executing like a freaking samurai.
That's right. You know? You've been there before.
100%, man.
Right. Let's jump into this slide. I know that we've covered most of it already. I guess let me.
Sorry for stealing the show.
No, it's all good. So let me just apply like how I applied, envisioning goals and basically setting myself up for success. If you open like my ShineOn Triumph website, I actually said that I wanted to live and breathe with the 6-figure sellers last year. Like in I think it was like after Valentine's Day. I think that was my goal, right? So I already had like some, success. Let's say for my first like doing ads by myself after having an agency do them for me. I had my first taste of success, and I was already trying to envision myself, to be with the big,
come on, mate.
Big guy. Like, and then
you had a big boy.
So like, Ronnie and Michael were my idols at that point of time. And I even remember telling my wife, look at this Michael guy. He's just so amazing. Like I've been learning from him, and I want to do like multi 6 figures as well. Like Well, what's to stop me? And then, I continually invested in that, and I believed that I could do it. Like, I always believed that I could. Like, I found, why is this not working? And just continually analyze the data which I was getting back, and over time, I managed to find some sort of, edges against the competition, and that's what allowed me to excel forward. So the key thing is you need to believe in yourself and believe it's possible to achieve success. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it's just going to cascade. So then you're like, oh, Facebook is iOS 14.5. It's not possible anymore. You come up with like these negative beliefs which stack and they cascade. So say, for example, you have other things in your life which are potentially negative, like you're having a bad day at work or whatever. So you need to basically clear your mind of all of that when you come to create your products, or when you're thinking about this sort of journey, because it really needs to be your best work out at that time. So make sure that you clear your negative beliefs. So we'll cover that in the next line, what exercises you can do to let go of those, because I know that I see like a lot of posts where people are trapped by these negative beliefs, and it holds them back, because there's no reason why there's all these people posting they've got their first sale, or they've got then their first $1,000. There's no reason why you can't be in amongst your peers, right? There's no reason. There's nothing holding anyone back apart from their own beliefs, and them applying all of the teachings and learnings which they build as they put more ads out, right? So I guess I put that example of Facebook has changed and ShineOn is saturated. There's like all of these sort of excuses that people kind of get gratified to give them an objective to not continue with the journey, whereas them ideally missing out on an opportunity, right? So you always have to try and put your positive emotions out there. And if you have trouble with it, take a step back and talk to your peers, or talk to someone that is positive, and help let them carry you in your harder times. Because for me, that's particularly troubling. Living in Macedonia, it's really hard to find like-minded individuals. Most people are already discouraged, so have to really be careful with choosing friends and that sort of stuff, because that can hold you back as well. Because if you surround yourself with people that don't have those positive and clear, concise mindset to approaching things, then that can hold you back as well.
Be very aware of the verbiage that you're using upon yourself and in those conversations. Don't go into those conversations with positive people with negative mindsets about what you're doing and why things are hard and why you can't do this or you can't do that. That is not what they want to hear. They want to hear that you are in there, that you're trying and you've done this and you've done that and you're getting closer. Like, change that energy into this is just a step I'm taking towards getting that success. And that's why having that clear goal, or visualizing what Michael was saying before, of having an understanding of what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then being excited about going there and getting that, and then surround yourself with people that are positive and taking those steps, because that energy shift is huge. Because I can tell you, like, I find it very, very difficult to be around people that are negative in their self-talk, because that pulls me down, and I work very hard to keep my energy high. Because I know that high energy pushes me in the direction that I want to go, and that's what I need. So
yeah. I want to stick with this for just a minute, the whole negative thing real quick, because I'm curious to know things you guys have done personally to get yourself out of a rut, because it's not, look, it's sometimes it's not as easy as just like, getting in front of the mirror and giving yourself a pep talk, or listening to your favorite song and going for a run, or whatever it is, right? Like, sometimes it's tough. It's like you're dragging yourself, your body, behind yourself for a while, trying to get into it. So what are some things that have worked for you guys to get out of like mental, negative, emotional kind of ruts?
One of my hardest periods. Do you want me to go first, Kirsten?
Yeah, you can. I would jump to the next slide because this will tie into the exercises which people can do to rebalance themselves.
Yeah. So
I don't play well with others.
what I found worked well. Like I was in a pretty big rut a couple of years ago, and I'd get in this room in front of the computer, and I would have that emotional fog. Right, like I just could not think clearly. I was negative. Every conversation I had was negative. I was like, I can't. This is not who I am. And it was then that I just reached out. I've always been big on networking and reaching out to guys. Based on what Kirsten was saying about, not everyone gets what we're doing. This is different. Like people, that you speak to in your close circle, they doubt it. They're like, oh, that's just some online rubbish. So that's not a real business. So I just sent a message out to some people that I knew in business in my local area. And I was like, guys, do you want to catch up for a breakfast once a month, just so we can jam on ideas? And it doesn't have to be anything specifically that you're working on, but being around motivated, highly driven people, that was like a step one for changing that belief. And as soon as I started having those conversations with guys that were crushing it, I was like, I want to be around people that are absolutely dominating business right now. It doesn't need to be this business, just any business, because that energy. And you know what? Like, there's like 65, 70 people in that group now. A couple of years later.
Wow.
I mean,
man.
Only 5 to 10 of us catch up regularly. Like it's a rotating sort of roster. And I've got to drive that. I've got to make sure that I get the messages out.
That's amazing, dude.
First Tuesday, it's coming around. Give me your coffee order. And we have like a flame grilled steak on an open fire looking out over these rolling hills. But what comes from that, like, you may not even be speaking about business, but you're just talking about highly driven people.
Yeah,
like talking to them about what they're up to. And I leave every single breakfast going, damn, I just want to get after it. I need to get in that office. Like, I'm ready to go. Like that. It's
That's awesome.
so empowering to be around that energy. Feed up on people.
I agree. And I'm going to front run one of your slides. We have an awesome announcement that ties into these sorts of high environments where people can bounce off each other. But for me, the same sort of deal applies. Like I myself had quite a stressful time in the past couple of months when I was. So I actually got 2 apartments, and one of them I was renovating, and sorry, not renovating. It was new, but like I had to pretty much do some interior design and all that sort of stuff. So things that I'm not really normally capable of doing, but because there's like other contractors and stuff, it would involve a lot of my time being invested in those sorts of things. I guess, lesson learned, next time I'll get a project manager or someone else to manage it, because it was just like so stressful. And then I come to do my designs, and my mindset's just like all over the shop. So and that creates an imbalance. It creates imbalance in sleep, diet, exercise. So these key things, which for you taking care of yourself, fall apart, and that cascades into everything else. So this at this point where things are just not working, you need to take a step back and try to get things back on track. So are you sleeping right? Are you eating right? Can you go out for a walk and just clear your mind, and then come back to it. And then after I do these sorts of things, and then potentially like some sort of meditation as well. So there's a couple of apps here which we've recommended, Calm or Headspace. I know that Matt in the chat was also recommending Headspace. Like, it takes as little as 10 minutes just to clear your mind from everything. So like all of the stresses and all of the things that life normally brings on your plate, and then come back and do a design. And then that design, after like clearing my mind, ended up selling 2 or 3 units within the first $15 or $20 spent. So it's such a crucial part, and that's why we wanted to talk about this topic so much today, because everyone kind of skips over it, or they they go through it and then they apply the teachings, and then it's short-lived. But to consistently be on the top, you have to always be practicing and taking care of yourself. So if we, I put in parentheses here that, look at athletes, right? So athletes like Formula One or, basketball, they have like a team. They have like someone to feed them, someone to exercise them. They have someone to like a psychologist to keep their mind in the game all the time. So when they go out, they put out their best work on, in the car or on the hoops, right? So same sort of deal applies to you. But unfortunately, you don't have a team of people. Potentially, you could have a team of people when you start to put some serious numbers out there. But for the moment, you have to take the initiative to do this sleep, diet, exercise, and mindfulness exercises for yourself. And Ron has some good content on his channel. I definitely recommend going and having a look. There's some recommendations for some books. So Bruce Lipton is a really good author. He's got quite a few books out there. The Law of Attraction is one, and this other example here, which is the biology of belief. But there's plenty of resources out there which you can reference upon to build the skills for keeping your mind and body balanced.
Just the step before this is the building the habit of actually doing this. It's a daily habit. And for that book, I'd recommend Atomic Habits by James Clear. Incredible book. If to get yourself in that mindset, do that daily exercise. But to make it exciting, make sure you're listening to a podcast you like, or it's that habit stacking is what I'm trying to say. So I know when I was trying to get back into exercise and make it a daily thing, by listening to a book that I was, loving, or listening to a podcast, it made me look forward to actually getting out that door and going for that walk. And now, like, I have to get out there and just have that walk. Like, it's shifted from trying to build a habit into one that I just have to have. So Atomic Habits, James Clear, great book. And that'll set you up, like, doing these daily practices, like the daily mindfulness. And that headspace is great because I'm pretty sure it gives you streaks as well. And I work well with streaks. Like, if I've got an app that tells me that I'm on a hot streak right now, like Duolingo, I'm up to 410 days on that streak. It's like, I can't stop. I've just got to get 411. It's like that is a drug in its own right. And it's just that these little simple tweaks that you can do that are built into these apps that make this whole process of building this habit. And by doing this process and doing it every day, you will shift your mindset from being negative to being positive, and bringing all the energy that you need to show up daily to do these tests in Ads Manager and designing and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Before we move over to the next session, which is like product ideas, trending niches, and research, I just want to put out there that I had someone that was doing graphic design, and he ended up he actually took action and put his own ads out there, and he got sales pretty much straight away. So he was just like absorbing all of the content, absorbing, and then reading all the mindset stuff, and that pushed him into taking action, and that action started to produce results. So literally anyone out there could do this, right? So it's just so powerful, like how mindset is such a key part of this.
And I want to, as we close this tip anyway, I just want to say that, like, look at just how much time we've spent on mindset, and literally all three of us have our own approaches to how we kind of solve the problem and unique, but all of us agree on its importance 100%. And if you just take a step back now and you imagine every athlete you've ever seen on TV that achieves high levels of success, or Olympic athlete, or even like a celebrity, like certain movie stars, like anybody that's achieved a high degree of success, I promise you, they could sit here and talk for hours about this mindset stuff. I promise you, they could sit here and talk for hours about building habits, remaining emotionally distant from negative things, how they keep themselves positive, how they maintain their bodies so they have high energy levels and their diet. Like, I promise you, all of them have spent a considerable amount of time trying to get those things dialed in so they could perform on the field. The thing is it's just invisible. Nobody talks about that, right? Nobody really spends a lot of time talking about what goes on in between your ears that allows you to do all the other stuff. So I totally agree with Kirsta. This is completely overlooked. A lot of times people do not spend enough time here, but this is, I say all the time, if you don't give up long enough, you win. Like, people tap out because of what goes on in between their ears. It has nothing to do with outside forces at all, period. It is 100% what goes on in between your own ears. So getting this dialed in, focusing on it, picking up these tips and tricks, rewatching this section of the video, I'd highly recommend it for everybody. You got to get this figured out. It's going to help you achieve higher levels of success in the future.
And if you're addicted to negativity, this is so vitally important that you start doing. And it's not just a one and done type thing. It is building that daily habit, because only through that daily habit of addressing that negativity and focusing on positivity that you start to change that balance, and the way you speak to people will completely shift once you've been doing it for a little while.
Dude, your energy levels will just freaking go up too, man. You don't realize how negativity just it saps everything, man. It'll wear you down. You need to take that negativity, detach from it, and declare war. Like, that is really what it needs to be. Anyway, tip number 2.
I could literally speak about this for hours. Man. Dude, this energy thing. Like, I used to go to this coffee shop, and the person that used to own it, she was, on a good day, the vibe in there, everyone would be super happy. But as soon as she was in her, when she was angry, which was often, you'd go in there. It was great coffee, so that's why I kept on going back. But you'd go in there and you'd straight away feel that the energy's off, and you're like, she's in a bad mood. And you'd talk to her, and oh my God, she's just going off at everyone. So people, if they're really strong energy, whether they're strong negative energy or strong positive energy, you will very, very quickly find out who they are. That's for sure. If they're negative, they're not keeping that energy to themselves. They are happy to share it. Same with positivity. That's why I'm around positive people.
100%, dude. Well, thanks for I don't know if you have to drop. Feel free to hang out if you can.
Oh, no. I want to go back to bed.
Yeah. Well, thanks for popping in and hanging with us and getting us through the mindset, dude. Dropping some bombs.
Thank you for having me. I couldn't believe that when Kirsta sent me that message. I was like, oh my God, who is this dude?
Yeah, that's awesome, yes, dude. But you're welcome on here anytime, man. I love having you on, dude.
Thanks, man. Love talking to you.
All right, guys.
Can't wait to see your results. It's going to be awesome. Big Q4 ahead. Europe. Oh, my God. I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, it's going to be sweet. This is the place to be.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
All right. See you, man. Take care. Hey, drop him some likes, comments, thanks, emojis down in the chat before. Are there Zen emojis, yin yang, something like that? Maybe drop him some mindset stuff in the chat here, so he knows the love, he feels the love. But anyway,
go and give him a subscribe on YouTube. His handle is Ron Mack.
Yeah, go check out his YouTube channel. Tons of cool print on demand stuff, tons of cool ShineOn stuff, mindset stuff. He's definitely worth a follow. He's probably one of my favorite people in the world. So, all right,
let's jump into the technical stuff, I guess.
Yeah, man, take her away.
So, what can we do to find products and trending niches, and how can we market our products? So we've got Q4 coming up. So there is a shortcut. You can use spy tools like AdSpy. This way you don't have to find, you kind of need to know who other advertisers are to sort of have a look at what they're doing. So if you don't have privilege of that, you need to use a tool, like a paid tool to figure out who the advertisers are and what they're putting out there. Otherwise, there is the Facebook ads library, which you can leverage, which is free. But if you don't, you have to use one of these. So AdSpy is just one of them. There's other ones out there I don't know all other, like that's just my go-to, but there is plenty of other tools. So you can put like Ad Spy tool, and I'm sure a whole bunch will come out there.
Yeah, there's
I
tons
was
of them
using.
now.
Yeah, I know that there's so many of them. I haven't really been looking at other ones, but the thing is, I don't really like. Even though I have this tool, this is not like, it's not for me. I use it basically just to research. I don't use it to go and find someone's winning product and replicate it, right? So this is just for me to get inspiration and ideas. So um, I would look for message cards of or products which are trending, like whether it be a T-shirt or something else, and I would kind of see why they're doing well, and I'd see, all right, so it's doing this well and that well, so I like the phrasing, or I like the punch of the phrase, and I take that away and go and have a look at some other products, and I get a lot of ideas, and I kind of like brainstorm. I like this and I like that, and I probably pick and choose from a lot of products, and from there you can find a niche, right? So this is where Google Trends comes in. So last year I found that Pokemon was trending. Like I don't know why it was trending. Potentially, like in the middle of the pandemic and stuff, people were nostalgic, and it was just a huge thing. So I kind of combined that because I found that on Google Trends with a message card, and I kind of pitched that to an audience, and I got some traction with it. So there is niches out there, but ideally you can find big broad winners as well. So this is where you do like your product breakdown. So you have a look at why are these products selling so much, and what elements of them are successful. Is it the creative which they're putting out there, like the actual ad itself? Is that what's effective? Is it the messaging on the ad? So is it the phrase or the way they put the product in that ad? And then take away some other notes from that. So in your brainstorming, you're like looking at these ads, and you're like, is it the ad, is it the product, is it the messaging in the ad, or is it the ad itself? So you get ideas for that. So you're taking a lot of ideas and you're breaking them up into smaller pieces, and then you're going to jumble them back together into a winning product. So this is where flipping the narrative comes into play. So you as a marketer have to be creative. So you've got a lot of ideas now. So you've got potential punch lines for a phrase. You've got ads or angles of ads which are working. And you've got potential audiences as well. So we found, Pokemon is trending. It could be something else. It could be like fishing, camping, boating. Like in winter, it could be s'mores and people going outside, cooking up marshmallows or something like that. So you could find some interest in those type of products. So it's this which gives you the edge compared to just going and like what I was talking about before, just going and copy and pasting. Because let me tell you, if you do that, you're not going to have a good time, because at that point, Facebook has already built up such a rapport for that person that was scaling that product, that you and going competing against them in the auction, it will be very difficult. So it's better to start your own product and make it harder for people to copy your product as you build up your score and your reputation on Facebook, because that could be the make or break of your campaign. So you've seen like some phrases which have done well in all niches, right? So you could potentially find these other verticals. So like we're talking about marshmallows, like marshmallow fans and wife. So people that like enjoy camping, you can cater to that audience, and potentially use the same phrase which you like off the t-shirt, right? So it doesn't have to be proven in jewelry. It can be proven in another pod section, or it doesn't even have to be proven. It can be a unique phrase. So I'm a ninja. I see all of you guys' ads. I see that like the creatives are very much the same. And this is one thing which you can improve on. The creative is such a key element of success in advertising, because you have to understand that at the end of the day, you're bidding against all the other advertisers. And if everyone's doing the same thing, it's going to be hard for you to compete against the bigger fish. So when we go into testing, we talk about budgets and $30 and what that means in the bigger scale of things again in the Facebook auction. So you're a little fish in a big shark tank, and to survive, you need to you have to battle with all of these big guys. So you have to really nail down the creative. So tips and tricks on creative. You can literally take the creative, which was like the what was it called? What was the creative called? Well, the dark not slanted. I think it's like when the message card is like this way.
Oh yeah, the real dramatic one. I don't know what it's called, but
you can take that and flip it like this.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just a new creative all in that like simple change. And
you're saying you basically just rotated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a new creative, and the CTR goes up because it's not like people haven't seen that flip of it. And I've been taking these UGCs which ShineOn have been providing, and I've been going like that or like that or like upside down sometimes just to see what the reaction is, because what happens is when someone's scrolling and it's upside down, they have to flip their phone. It gets attention, so you have to spark the attention. So when people are doing the same thing, you're going to get like pattern blindness because everyone's doing the same thing. So try and be more creative in your creatives, because that's going to be the key part in getting the attention. So that's going to get the attention. Then you're going to. I
want to give a shout out real quick to your kind of coaching all through last year, because we would see your students start to scale. Remember, I see everybody's products. We would see your students start to scale. And I was always super impressed with just how creative the stuff that they were coming up with was. Like, it would always be in these niches I just never would have thought to do. It'd be some unique phrase or variation of a phrase I just never would have thought to do. And you did that consistently for a long time. I mean, you're still doing it. And I got to give you some mad props, man, because this process here, I see it now in every winner that you or one of your students has had, probably since you started with us. They all seem to come from this process where it's some kind of unique phrase with a unique blend on a punchline in a niche or spun to a different niche that's never seen it before, or it's sub niche down and it's got that blend from Star Wars or Pokemon or whatever it is. It's pretty freaking cool, man. So props to you on that.
So just talking about that, the first person that did the Star Wars design was one of my students last year, and he was literally just starting his journey, and he I was just so amazed that he took everything that we had, he applied it, and then he's like, oh, what do I do now? He's getting 4 or 5 ROAS and scaling it is like as if he's achieved nothing, but it's such a crazy thing to achieve in a short amount of time. So I was even slanting my head to one side, trying to figure out what to say, because it's just so gratifying to have that sort of impact on other people's lives. And that's part of what I want to do with joining ShineOn, is to amplify that to a bigger audience, to help other people do the same sort of life-changing maneuvers.
Cool, man. All right, tip number 3, testing.
Right. So those of you who aren't familiar with Dirty 30, Dirty 30 is a testing method which I came up with last year and had really good success with it. I did some variations to it, and this is the second variation post iOS. So those of you that noticed that I didn't really get affected too much by iOS. I think I did 250K the first or second month of when iOS was out, and then followed by another 100K the month after that. And a lot of the Triumph members weren't really getting impacted. There was impact, more so the niches, but that's because the targeting isn't as well as what it was before. But for the majority of people, because of the testing method we were using and the scaling methods that we're using, we didn't really see that much of an impact. So I would say that this method is still intact. There is some variations which I'm working on at the moment, and one of those variations we've included in the next slide. So the way that it works is you create 2 CBO campaigns, and basically they have the same audience in them and the same ad. And all that does is it just tests different parts of the audience, and it will see whether you can get consistent sales. So normally these are broad. You can just do like age targeting and male or female, or you can go like all genders and then mix it with at least like just one interest. So whether it be, it depends on what kind of product you have. So if it's like a husband to wife situation, I probably wouldn't go married because that's the first choice for everyone. I probably go for like emotion side of things, so like love or happiness or some other positive sort of emotional interest, rather than the first thing that everyone thinks of, just to give your product the best testing chance. Not that it matters, because Facebook kind of knows who to show your ads to. And this is something I noticed yesterday when I was creating one of my creatives. The AI already knew where the clickbait was, like which was the best point of the video to show to get the click. So it's smart enough to figure it out. It's probably losing its edge when it comes to targeting, but this testing method is kind of immune because it's focusing on broad audiences anyway. We leave the detailed targeting expansion on. Detailed targeting expansion will also be mandatory, and some accounts have already had that applied to them. So you kind of have to get used to that. And that's because Facebook knows that it can't target as well as it used to. So they're kind of forcing everyone. So but the thing is, with this on, it will learn quicker and the algorithm will adapt, and it will benefit everyone in the coming months. So this is a good thing that they've done this, because it will help us in the coming months. So the test period is 1.5 days, because what we were noticing is that because of after iOS, it's like, oh crap, I've underperformed. Here's a couple of purchases right at the end of the day. So if you cut the campaigns early, you miss out on these potential purchases where Facebook over delivers because it under delivered, sort of thing. So that's the reason why we stretched it out to 1.5 days compared to previously where it would be 1 day. So we jump to the next slide.
Is this the right slide?
Yep. So in the ad, it's just a single creative. You can use a thumbnail or any other trick to increase conversion, click-through rate. So you can put like a banner at the top. So my heart melted, or some other emotion. So talk about the buyer emotion to get that click. And then so yeah, for testing, I said, use dark close up, slanted to the left. This was, imagine how many people have read that post when I posted this method and using that creative. So deviate away from that. I'm trying to get you guys to think you have to be a little bit different. So flip it to the other side.
Another zag in this game.
Yeah. So use a UGC, do something else, like flip the narrative on the audience and go make them wow at your product when they see it in your newsfeed. So in the previous variation, we're doing single line of copy with the headline and link. I'm even not doing any copy now. For all my new tests, is just the shop now and the link to the product, and that combined with a few other creative optimizations, I've lifted my click-through rate of about 1% or 0.5% on most of my ads. So I definitely recommend not running any copy. So
hey, I want to make sure everybody got that, because you're just so subtle here in how you said it. Dude, Kirsta is running some tests right now where there's literally no primary text in the ad. So there's no text at all in the ad. So when you see it come up in your feed, it is literally like just the image, and then you've got the headline still, right, Kirsta, in the Shop Now button?
Yeah, but the headline takes from the product title. So whatever you have on the site, that's what it's going to show in the headline.
Oh, so you're not even typing a headline. You leave the headline blank. What a rebel.
Yeah, so I try to achieve the messaging in the ad creative itself. So if I want to say this is for a daughter, right? So I'll be like, I got this from my mom and I loved it, or whatever messaging I'm trying to do in my ad copy, I'm trying to do in my ad creative now, and it seems to be working really well, as well as emojis and other sorts of to try and create that emotion like visually. So if it's crying, or if it's love heart eyes, like whatever you're trying to achieve, like so if it's like really romantic, it's love heart eyes for the romantic niches. So you're trying to visualize the emotion that the buyer's going to have, the receiver's going to have that gift in the messaging of the ad creative itself, rather than the line of copy, which no one, like most of the time, has read. Because I can say that because I've done so many tests of ad copies at products which have been scaling, and it made little or no difference, or sometimes it worsened my ads. So ad creative is the key to success here. So
totally agree with that. Dude, most big companies that do like 3 to 5 million a month or whatever it is with like single brands, they're not launching new products all the time like we are. And don't get me wrong, that's super important for the niche we're in. I mean, our product, that is exactly what we're selling. But these brands don't have that kind of flexibility. And so what they spend all their time testing is the creative, right? It's just like, they're trying to sell a pair of jeans. It's like the pair of jeans doesn't change week over week. They're literally just trying tons and tons and tons of new creatives. The way we test new phrases, they're testing new creatives. And I think that goes to highlight, though, the fact that if you lock into a winning product and you're running it and you kind of get through your audience and your cost per purchases are going up, what you need to do is try to breathe new life into it, get fresh air into its lungs by testing and moving to new creatives. So I'm 100% with you on that. The creative is super freaking important.
Yep. And I'm seeing like top advertisers do the same thing. They're doing most of their or all of their messaging through the ads, whether it be a video ad as well. So it's just what's working. And the reason why I'm doing it, like one of the reasons why I took action to do it, is because I wanted to not have that as a variable of testing. I want to test the product and the creative. I don't want to test ad copy because the ad copy could potentially hinder my results. And the second reason was Facebook has like some weird AI stuff going on where it can flag accounts for ad copy, even if it's compliant and it's following all of their guidelines, right? And you don't want to be getting into those sorts of situations when you're testing products, because it can basically ruin your tests, because when the ad account gets disabled, then it'll spend your budget aggressively and all that. When it comes back online, it's an inconvenience because it's going to spend your budget aggressively and it's not really a valid test. So you need to test that product again. So staying away from that helps. It's literally just an ad image for creative, no ad copy. I know there's a lot of questions about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing which we do is this is a new addition which we've done after iOS 14.5 is we've run landing page views alongside. So basically whatever your testing budget is, so with Dirty 30, it's two $30 campaigns. So you'd also run a $6 landing page views campaign. So you can run traffic landing page views, or you can run conversion landing page views. You just need to make sure that you go into the ad level and click website events for tracking, so it tracks any purchases that come through. Because what happens with this, it balances your ads performance. What's happening with iOS, it's showing your ads to a lot of people that potentially shouldn't see it, and that's causing a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm not interested in this," or hiding the ad, and that's giving your ad bad feedback. So this helps show it to more people, so you get more positive results. So it kind of balances your ad performance, so that way that you have the best sort of test parameters, so you get reasonable data back. If you just run conversions, the CPMs skyrocket, and you don't really get good data compared to what it is before that. And you also potentially get some direct purchases as well from the landing page views campaigns, which we've seen.
So what Kirsten is saying there is, remember how earlier we were talking about Facebook puts people into buckets, and they've gotten super good at that. Don't get me wrong, their ability to do it is diminishing, but they still try to do that. What Kirsten is saying is, like, when you run all your ads to like the purchase conversion objective, for example, the same, even though the interest may say there's 20 million people in there, the same people in the purchase conversion bucket in that 20 million are going to be seeing the ads probably over and over again. You can kind of check this if you look at the frequency in Ads Manager. You're going to see it start to tick up. Anytime it's greater than 1, it means your ad is being displayed to some people more than once, right? Well, if people start seeing your ad often enough and they don't want to buy, they can start giving your ad negative feedback. And when they do that, Facebook's going to penalize you with higher CPMs and things like that. What Kirsta's saying here is, if you also run in parallel a different objective, so he's suggesting traffic or landing page view, I believe, that your ad is going to start to be seen by a new segment of that 20 million people or whatever in your interest, right? It's going to be seen by a new segment that's never seen your ad before. And on the whole, right, it's going to bring the amount of the percentage of negative feedback you get down, right? It's going to keep it low. And then Facebook's not going to penalize you with those higher CPMs. Is that basically what you're saying, Kirsta?
Yeah, in a nutshell. I mean, the auction and how it works and all the advertiser score and all the mumbo jumbo behind the scenes is like, hours of topic to cover. But this is the best sort of the best approach which we found to combat that particular situation. So it gives your test the best possible chance of success when we run this type of campaign structure. Let's jump into.
You ready for the next one?
Yep. So what we're looking for is we're looking for 2 to 3 purchases within the test period, which is $90 spent. So we said 1.5 days. So $30 means $30 per campaign will be $60 spent, and then you kind of let $15 spend on the second day. And if you get no purchases, that's end of test. But you can set these up as rules. So you can. I kind of don't really recommend rules anymore because of the attribution and not having the data on the ad set. So you kind of need to manually run things. This is something which I created, and then over time the rules don't really apply. But you kind of need to know the rules of the test, right? So you need to manually apply these. So we're looking for $90 to more than 2 purchases, so 2 to 3 purchases before deciding whether you're going to continue or not. And then also have like your ROAS cutoff as well. So if you have more than 1 purchase, but it exceeds X amount of ROAS, so each product varies, so you need to calculate profit divided by sell price to figure that out, and then you basically make your judgment on that. So these are the rules to follow. Write them down when you are applying this testing method. We can jump into the analysis. So I guess we were already talking about the analysis. So three purchases basically means for me, I will be moving to scaling or essentially ramping up, where we're trying to get more data on the pixel. So I'm not necessarily looking to be profitable during the testing period or the ramping up period. So what I'm looking for is consistency in purchases. So like we were talking about before, I don't like talking about numbers, like dollar signs and how much dollars. I'm more looking at purchases and purchase consistency. And if I'm getting 2 to 3 purchases for every $90 spent, that's a good metric for me. And then when I add more dirty 30s horizontally, so basically the next phase is to add another 2 dirty 30s once reaching the 3 purchases. And then I'm continually looking for those metrics. So but don't get me wrong, I do keep track of the dollars as well. So I do have a risk tolerance of where I'd say, that's enough. But if you're break even, slight profit or slight loss, that is where you want to be. Because as you feed the pixel more data, it just amplifies the results moving forward. There's been potentially when I've done this, 80% of the time the product will be a winner. There's some times where you'll get through the ramping up phase and it just doesn't go after that, and that's just unfortunate. It happens. But 8 times out of 10 it will scale after getting more data on the pixel.
Scaling?
Yeah. So like I was talking about, what we do is we add more dirty 30s and we monitor them by the rules. So each of the sets have their rules. So set 1 has the $90, set 2 has the $90. So you monitor each set separately while you're doing the ramping up. So if set 2 gets no purchases with $90 spent, you turn them off. If set 1 after 4 days hasn't got an additional 2 to 3 purchases, you cut that off. So you monitor each set individually, but ideally you want to get to at least 10, which we've found is the sweet spot, and that tends to, I think it's around the $300 to $500 spend limit, and that's I think 10 or 20 times what your cost per acquisition is, and that basically is the sweet spot we found to basically steady your ads to the pixel optimization. So the pixel optimization is the destination which you want to get to, and you don't want to do it too aggressively, because feeding too, if you go from 2 to 10 dirty 30s in a day, that's just bad risk management, because it could have just been a fluke during the testing period, for one. For two, you could basically dilute the data, because the Facebook is starting to learn on the pixel and it's starting to optimize, and then you just feed it a whole bunch of data and it kind of needs to widen out, because it's taking a panic and it's rushing to show your ads to a whole bunch of new audiences to get you the results. But those other audiences may not be the right one. So doing this at a steady and gradual pace, building up the data over time, and then scaling more aggressively is the best approach.
So when you say 10 active campaigns, we're talking about 5 sets, right?
Yes, of $30 per campaign. So
okay,
yeah,
cool. This I've heard a ton of people that have had success with your Dirty 30 method, so highly recommend everybody check this out. I'll make these slides available for download at the end of this as well, so that everybody can kind of go back here and reread this whole section. So, all right, are you done with scaling?
Yeah.
All right, this is run kind of long, so let's we're going to do a little bit of QA. We're going to keep it short. Real quick, before we get to it, we do have a special announcement that we want to share with everybody. As you know, at ShineOn, we're constantly trying to bring you the latest and greatest content and education that we possibly can. We have a whole media buying team here. We've tried to really hire the best. Kirsta's here, Zappy's here, Jim is here. Each of them are like little mad scientists in their own laboratories, running tests, running experiments, trying to reanimate the machine, so to speak. And then they're churning that information out into these shots of espresso. They're coming on to Coffee with Michaels and sharing content here. So it's become this almost like kind of content ecosystem, but we also have a ton of knowledge, a ton of big brains on board here at ShineOn. And we are going to start churning out more high-level content for you. We have a new release we want to tell you about. We are going to be launching our own coaching program here at ShineOn coming in Q4. So probably either the first or the second week of October is kind of what we're targeting here for this. We are going to launch a coaching program. The coaching program is going to have 2 tiers. I'm not going to go into tons of detail about the tiers and the cost and all that kind of stuff. There is going to be a monthly cost to these, though. But we're going to provide you the best educational content for succeeding with ShineOn that you can possibly imagine inside of the coaching programs. Not only are you going to have all the education, up-to-date videos that Kirsta is going to make. We're going to have celebrity coaches kind of come in. We're very well connected at ShineOn. So when I say celebrity coaches, I'm not just talking about like the Mario Mandunis and the Ronnie McKenzie's of the world. Those guys are fantastic. They know what they're talking about, and they really help elevate things. But I'm also talking about some folks from other parts of the marketing space, like Nick Peroni, Adrian Morrison, Nick Shackelford, Molly Pittman, and so on. We plan on rotating a lot of really high-powered guests in through the program from time to time to drop kind of knowledge bombs on how you can really become a professional digital marketer with your ShineOn stuff. The coaching program is going to include some very unique perks that we're experimenting with, like early access to products. We're even thinking about having some exclusive products that only people in the coaching program can take advantage of. We're going to maybe give people in the coaching program access to our graphic designers. We're thinking about creating like special UGC graphics and videos for those that are inside the coaching program. Really just there's a ton of perks, a ton of value we're going to stack into the program. But all of it really is to help you be as successful as possible with ShineOn products and to help you have the biggest Q4 you can possibly imagine. So we're super excited about it. There's going to be video content, calls, private chats with other people inside the coaching program. It's going to be super, super cool. I'm super stoked about it. Kirsta has been working his fingers to the bone on this. Kirsta, am I missing anything here? Is there anything you want to add about the coaching program?
I guess what Ronnie and I were talking about earlier, like rubbing your feet with like-minded entrepreneurs is just like invaluable in itself. Like keeping your mindset balanced and having a peer of people that can lift you up is just like it's an exponential benefit, which is just amazing. The other thing is that a lot of the stuff which we'll have in the coaching program has been proven, and we've seen a success come out of it. So I'm taking the best elements of what I've learned over the past 12 months, and you can see some of those success stories in the group if you just search for my name. Like thanks to everyone who called me out where they've found some success with it, even if it's just from the free content, like applying Dirty 30 and having some success with it. I've had like plenty of shout outs for that stuff. So it's really fantastic. And the thing is, like being part of the coaching program, like for the past 12 months for other people has given them advantage to things that we've been testing. So like UGCs we were doing like last year before everyone was doing UGCs earlier this year. So there was a lot of things that we're doing and optimizing, whether it be ad strategies, targeting, or researching trends and niches. So like it gives you quite a competitive edge against a lot of other marketers when you are rubbing feet with very committed and very strong-minded individuals as well in the community.
And you know, something else I would add is like there's an accountability that comes with being in these groups. And I sometimes feel like that accountability is worth the price of these groups alone, because it's like you showing up and taking action at the end of the day is what's going to get you a result, right? And whatever you can do to help kind of lock yourself into a contract or a commitment with yourself to actually do those things where there's like stake involved, you know what I mean? Like a fee or something like that. It's powerful, motivating stuff. So I know that I've paid, I drink my own Kool-Aid here. I paid tens of thousands of dollars on courses. I paid for really high ticket coaching in the past, and I personally have found it worth every penny. And the other shocker to me is just that, like, typically the price, even if you add up all I've ever spent on coaching, I could throw a dart at that, but it's less than 100,000, but it's definitely more than 10,000. I can tell you that. If you add all of that up together, it's still less than the cost of like a college education. And I've made way more money from it too. So it's like the cost of these things just pale in comparison.
I agree with this. This is a big topic, which I agree with, because what's the lifetime value of college? Like, how much value in your life does it give you compared to investing in yourself and learning new skills, right? So let's say it adds $10,000 or $20,000 extra a year from finishing college, and then you end up with $800,000 over your lifetime. Whereas you develop skills here which you can apply to any business. Like even if you don't end up doing ShineOn after 12 months, and you potentially you find another niche and you want to create a store for something else, these lessons are universal to anything you want to apply it to. So the lifetime value is potentially unlimited from these types of things. So I myself, just like you, have invested in many courses and many trainings, because I feel I never know everything. So I want to take bits and pieces from everyone and always learn, because you can always do something. You can always do something better. And we hope to bring that to everyone. And another thing which I'm trying to do is trying to make it in a way that it's digestible for everyone. Like a lot of the content which I've digested in the past, some are really complicated and technical aspects which can be explained much simpler, but nobody does it in that way. So I'm trying to provide a unique take to make it suitable for everyone as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this, mainly just because I think we have a lot of people in the group that want coaching. It's a regular ask. People really want more kind of that mentor kind of approach. So this is going to be more of a group coaching program. We are trying to figure out a way to provide some one-on-one coaching as part of it. We're still kind of sorting that out. But I will tell you this: when it comes to value, the value you're going to get out of this program, we're putting a ton into it. I don't think you're going to find anything else like this anywhere else. So we're super excited about it. So anyways, all right, let's get to some, we've run super long. Let's get to some Q&A and we'll wrap this up. Let's just do 3 questions here. We're just going to do 3 questions and we're going to move to wrap this up. Drop your questions in the comments below. The first question that gets answered is probably one that's already been asked. So let me kind of scroll through here and see what we've got. Here's one from Michelle. Do we always do landing page views or after doing well on purchase? I think what she's asking is, do you always run the landing page views alongside the ads, or do you wait until you have a set or a campaign that's brought in some purchases and then you run them?
So you run them alongside. So say, for example, you're running landing page views in a test. So it's $6, 10% of the budget. And then you're adding another dirty 30. Sorry, another 2 dirty 30s. So you're up to 120. You'd probably run $12, right? So you continually up your landing page views as you're increasing your purchase objective campaign budgets as well. So I kind of run it alongside. And then the other advantage of this is when you come to retargeting, you're going to get additional purchases from the landing page views audiences, even if you didn't suspect that they were going to convert. So it's keeping your funnel exponentially bigger, and it's giving you more chances to success. Post iOS, probably wouldn't recommend. This would probably be like a Facebook marketing expert hard sell prior to iOS update, but now it's like, I've tested this scenario and I've had other people test it and have great success with it. So That's why I'm recommending it. I'm not recommending it because I'm going to make some other company a lot of money. I'm recommending it because it works.
Here's one from Michelle. How can you prevent copyright issues? So I think this relates back to, like, you were talking about looking at Star Wars or Pokemon or what have you. How do you avoid getting into trouble there if you try to experiment with a niche like that?
I'm not an expert on this. I always advise everyone to seek their own advice on these issues because it is a complex issue. But I would stay away from any copyrighted graphics or names. So try to give the idea of the niche, but don't directly use elements from that. Keep it like maybe just like formatting the text in a certain way may give off that feeling of that niche, or you're trying to kind of give it the idea that it's related, but don't do any direct representations of any characters or any.
I mean, look, we're not lawyers here, so this isn't necessarily legal advice. You are going to have to consult somebody that knows what they're talking about on copyright law. But if you do, you need to avoid like copyrighted material, so quotes, exact phrases, symbology that comes from like that universe or the iconography, fonts, things like that. However, you can get super close. Like there are ways you can get like pretty close to where like it harkens to like that particular thing, and it will remind the viewer of what you're referencing, right? Even though it's not like just taken from copyrighted material. But again, seek a lawyer. Don't get yourself sued. I don't know what I'm talking about. So you're on your own if you follow my advice. All right. Let's see. One more question here. Bear with me. I think we'll go with this one. Do I need to target interest in the German language if I'm targeting people in Germany? How do you normally do that, Kirsta?
So if you're targeting in Germany, basically, if I recall correctly, there's a language targeting option.
There is.
Like from my ads manager, I think I've only seen like English only and those sorts of options. There may be language actions there where you can target in German. That said, like I personally feel that like broad targeting has always worked the best for myself. So just going for big broad niches, because that's going to house the products which will scale the most. And that's pretty much what has been proven to work post iOS for most people. So I would probably focus on just targeting the language in the language options under the ad set level.
Yeah, I think I basically agree with you. The only time I think that you'd want to narrow it down to just the German language is if you've actually translated the phrase, right?
Yeah.
If you translated the phrase to German, it doesn't make sense to show it to a bunch of English speakers. All right, cool. That's going to wrap up the 3 questions because this has run so long. We are going to move to end this. Till we see you guys again. If you're brand new here, you're watching us on YouTube or wherever you're seeing this, sign up and start selling with us at ShineOn.com. You can go there. You can make an account in 60 seconds. You can start selling with the best print-on-demand company in the universe, bar none. Come join our Facebook group. You can find us at bit.ly/GoShineOn. bit.ly/GoShineOn if you want to join our Facebook group. It's the most engaged print-on-demand e-commerce Facebook group on the planet. Yes, that is a fact. We have actually run the metrics on that. It's true. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/ShineOnPod, where you can get all of our videos, our free content. There's just gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of videos over there. Go check us out. And new, come join us on Instagram, instagram.com/ShineOn. Just search for ShineOn inside Instagram. You can follow our Instagram account. We're just firing it up with a bunch of new content. So yeah, go follow us there. And appreciate you guys for joining. Thanks so much. And we'll see you on the next Coffee with Michael. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
See you, everyone.
Hey, Michael here again. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And there's one more thing I want you to do. Check out the links in the description below. I want you to look at the link to ShineOn.com where you can sign up and become a seller with us today. It literally takes 60 seconds and it could change your life. Secondly, I want you to go to our Facebook group. It's the most engaged e-commerce group on the planet. We're constantly sharing important tips, tricks, and things like that that can help you on your seller journey and level up your e-commerce game. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.